Hello, my name is Larry Belfield, and welcome to the show. I thank you for joining me, and I hope you know that this is a pivotal time in our research. Now we're coming to see that these kings and these kingdoms have more to offer humanity than they ever took away. Wars happen, wars come and go. The reason for wars is usually out of most people's control. Blaming one person for a war is preposterous, especially now that we know that they've been given all of the foundations of our society is basically in all of these civilizations here. We didn't just spring out of nothing. We grew out of each and every single one. Now, what we must do here now is go back. Okay, go back to the beginning. We want to know how realty is purchased and bought and how it is bartered fairly between individuals. We started here at the Louisiana Purchase. See, the information I'm about to tell you is contrary to all that I've been led to believe. See, our history is full of disease, death, war. But from Google, YouTube, Wikipedia, the internet, I've been able to piece and see history in a whole new way. Piece it together. Even though there's danger, sadness, and fear to overcome, please still come with me through this fantastic idea of grace. You must abandon all of your ideas of the past. However, you must pick them up again and look with a new heart. The only real way to understand what I found is to walk the entire path the way I walked it. Now, you may have forgotten now how that this is about real estate and how you gained your ability to own real property. Now, we must backtrack a bit. I must keep correlating to tell you where we are in the timeline so that you don't get lost. So first question is how real estate began. Well, in short, it began with the Louisiana Purchase, when France sold their share to the American and 13 colonies. Now, after learning about that, we asked, what did we do before that? Now, I was sent on a journey. Before the Louisiana Purchase, we were a fief. All the land was a fiefdom, and the king owns the land. Now, we're allowed to lease and borrow the land, but all the land goes to the crown. Okay? Now, after learning that, we asked, what do we do before kings? Now, all I have come to learn is that there is very little evidence of civilizations without some sort of leader or leadership. Even tribes and chiefs, medicine men, had strong warriors to guide them. See? So then I searched for the oldest kings on record. And what I found was a lot of kings. All right, it was about 10 kings. A lot of kings and kingdoms come out of Africa. So many that the Trail of Kings is longer than the historical record. So we don't have record of all the kings that come out of Africa. There are more than can be remembered. However, there is a history on the 10 oldest, the oldest that we could find. All right. So with this short list of kings, we were able to find our way back to the first civilization ever recorded in history. Now, most of what they are or did is pretty much the same thing. They grew and expanded, right? But what stands out are the personal accomplishments of these kingdoms. Some kingdoms outlawed slavery. Some kingdoms had schools with over 100,000 students in it. One kingdom in particular was the kingdom connected to King Solomon, who is the richest king that ever lived. The same King Solomon that is written about in the Bible. He is actually the one that is in the same lineage in the Persian kingdom who wrote the Bible. Those people backtracked their lineage and wrote the Bible. Now, there is physical evidence of his existence and his lineage. Through his kingdom, there was Xerxes, the emperor that conquered the known world. The same Xerxes that went to war with Greece. Now, so then we looked up the war with Persia, in the movie. So most would see that war and see all the blood and see all the fighting, and then you'd want to stop. But I need to know what happened after. Because, see, we're not concerned with who's in control and who won the war and what happened and how gruesome it was. What we need to know is how real estate began. See, I would see this bloodshed, or most would see this bloodshed, and quit, like I did several times. However, what I need to know is details on how they deal, barter, sell property. So when we delve deeper into their culture, we need to know how they make money, how they pay for things. You know, a large sum about their culture. See, this is what kept me from losing my mind, right? So now we have to really dive into Persia, the real empire. Now, the real Persian Empire starts from one man. Cyrus the Great. Cyrus the Great. Okay? His empire, the Persian Empire. This is the beginning of the Persian Empire. The Achaemenid Empire. Okay? His empire spanned over 2 million square miles. He was known for making great gardens. He had a postal system that was over 100,000 miles long. Made and completely paved with cobblestone. It brought peace and growth to all the regions that it reached. And the postal system that he created, the mail could travel across the entire road, 100,000 miles in 7 days. And he also forbid slave labor in the kingdom. We'll have more on Cyrus the Great later. So studying the regions before and after what we know of war, turmoil, see, surprises me. Less than 100 years after the war with the Spartans, several cities spring forth, like leaves on a tree. Listen. These cities that are founded by Alexander the Great are actually still standing to this day. The Gaza Strip, Iran, Pakistan. And most of these cities and the roads that he used are the foundation for Rome. So this is almost 1,000 years before these cities even sprung up. Alexander the Great is building the foundation for their city. So studying the regions before and after the war surprises us. So we had to see what happens to the region on the map. You know, we don't just look at the war, we keep going till after the war. And you realize the war is with this leader. This leader's lifespan is only 60 years or so. What we're doing is taking this the 2 or 5 year war that this 60-year-old man had, and we're spreading it over the 500-year existence of the empire. See, in the time-lapse video of the region, there is 1 or 2 cities on the coast before the war. However, after these wars, the regions explode with commerce, farming, shipping are recorded more than anything else. By my calculation, time moves slowly for cities. It takes about 30 years for your group or your population to become big enough to be called a city, or for it to be big enough to be mentioned on a map as a dwelling place to stop. See, let's not get into the details of city building yet. But in 300 years, someone from Greece would sweep back over the plains of Persia, all right, and create a miracle that the people desperately need, that we desperately need to understand today. What is written is that a warlord took over the land by force and enslaved and killed many people, building monuments in his name. However, if you keep looking past the man, there is a much greater and richer story to be told. The story of Alexander the Great is world renowned. However, most of his achievements are lost due to the fighting, the killing, and the warring. In spite of that, he had several cities built across the plain of Persia, in spite of the bloodshed, we call him great. See, studying this, I was sick of all the war that our world has won. But then I saw a ray of hope. You see, 300 years after Alexander the Great's reign, Jesus is born. Now, this is the end of our show. I'd like to thank you for joining me. We are about to get deeper and deeper into the lives and the situations of these men. They pretty much single-handedly, by their account, their faith in God and their faith in God's promises and their knowledge of God is what they say helps them do the work that needs to be done, that brings all of mankind into order. We're going to look deeper on, I believe that these men are always here. Just the fact that we don't listen to them. We don't pay attention to them. Or we're not focused on them. We don't care about them until times of great need, until times of great desperation, until it comes time where we're lost and we have nothing, until we see that one that is totally dependent upon a higher power. And he's pretty much the only thing left. And we're forced to see the error of our ways. How he will be thriving and everyone else will probably be in turmoil, weeping of gnashing of teeth. But that's it for this episode. I would like you to join me next time, where we will be going deeper into men that save the world. Real estate.